What if I told you your phone is winning a war you didn't even know you were in? We're not talking about a war fought with weapons. This is a war for your attention, and attention is the currency of your life. We tell ourselves we're in control, that we choose when to look, when to reply, when to swipe. But the truth? The design of the technology in your hand is older than the phone itself. It's rooted in psychology and economics. And the more you use it, the less you own your time. As someone who's led teams for over 15 years, from startup floors buzzing at midnight to boardrooms where billion-dollar decisions are made, I've noticed something that rarely makes headlines. People aren't burning out because they're working too much. They're burning out because they're never truly off. The modern professional's day isn't split into work and life anymore. It's split into micro moments of partial attention. A spreadsheet here, a text message there, a quick scroll just to check. And in those tiny fragments, the depth of our thinking and our living is dissolving. Let me tell you about Daniel. Brilliant strategist, one of the sharpest minds I'd hired. But after a year, I noticed something. His output was rushed. His ideas, less bold. When I asked him about it, he said, "I just can't get into the zone anymore. My mind jumps every time my phone vibrates." It turned out Daniel was checking messages over 200 times a day, not because he wanted to, but because each ding triggered the same part of his brain that makes gambling addictive. He wasn't lazy. He was wired, by design, to be distracted. We love to think this is just about self-discipline, that you can fix digital imbalance by using a timer or turning on Do Not Disturb. But here's the uncomfortable truth. These devices are engineered to bypass willpower. Infinite Scroll exists because it removes stopping cues. Notification badges use the color red because it triggers urgency in your brain. Autoplay removes friction, so you consume without deciding. Why this matters to more than just you. Digital well-being isn't a personal issue anymore. It's a collective one, for families, companies, and entire economies. When employees are always online, burnout rates skyrocket. When children are raised in a state of constant stimulation, attention spans shrink. When leaders check emails at 1 a.m., it sends a cultural message that rest is weakness. This isn't just about screen time, it's about lifetime. And that's why in the next part, we'll talk about the unspoken vices and controversies, the uncomfortable truths the wellness articles won't tell you. We've been sold the idea that technology connects us, empowers us, and gives us more freedom. But here's the paradox. The more connected we are, the more disconnected we become from ourselves and from the moments that matter. As a CEO, I've seen how technology quietly extends the workday without a single policy change. When email was invented, it promised speed and efficiency. When Slack and Teams arrived, they promised collaboration. But here's the controversial truth. These tools are also surveillance in disguise. Not malicious surveillance, but cultural surveillance. If your team sees you reply at 11:45 p.m., they think they should too. If they're green on chat at 7 a.m., they're proving their dedication. And so, without anyone saying it, work-life balance dies, replaced by a subtle competition of who can stay plugged in the longest. This isn't just about bad habits, it's about neurochemistry. Tech companies operate in the attention economy, where your focus is on the product. Every app you use is competing in the same marketplace as gambling machines. Bright colors, reward loops, unpredictable notifications, all engineered to drip-feed dopamine. The average person now taps their phone 2,617 times per day. Not because they need to, but because our brains are chasing micro-rewards we barely notice. If a drug company engineered something to cause the same compulsive patterns in billions of people, there would be global outrage. But because it's in our pocket and looks like productivity, we accept it. Here's something you won't hear in most digital wellness talks. The ability to unplug is a privilege. Executives talk about taking digital detox weekends, but the single parent working 2 jobs can't just turn off their phone. The gig worker can't ignore app notifications without risking income. The nurse can't go offline when on call. Digital well-being is unevenly distributed. Those with more power have more freedom to protect it. In boardrooms, I've heard leaders admit something they'd never put in a press release. I feel more connected to my work team than to my own children. And it's not because they don't care. It's because their attention has been trained to respond to the fastest, loudest, most persistent signal. And work tech always shouts louder than a child asking, "Can you play with me?" AI promises to make work easier, but there's a catch. When we outsource too much thinking to machines, we weaken our own ability to focus, reason, and solve problems without prompts. Convenience can become cognitive atrophy. These aren't accidents. They're not random side effects. They are the predictable and profitable results of how our tools are designed. And the cost isn't just productivity or creativity, it's identity. Who you are is shaped by what you give your attention to, and if you're not careful, you may not recognize who you become. Digital well-being isn't about rejecting technology. It's about rewriting the terms of engagement. Because in the end, tech will take as much as you let it, and it's time to draw the line. The phrase tech-life balance sounds polite, almost gentle, as if we're trying to keep two children from arguing. But balance suggests equal weight. And right now, technology isn't a sibling in this relationship. It's the heavyweight in the ring. We can't fix this by simply using less tech, the way we can't cure a flood by just using fewer buckets of water. We have to change the system we operate in. At work, at home, and in our own minds. After 15 years of leading teams, here's what I've learned. The most effective changes are the ones that remove the choice entirely. Not because people are weak, but because discipline is a terrible long-term strategy when fighting billion-dollar engineering. 1. Company-level digital Sabbaths. 1 day a week, the entire organization disables non-critical communication. No Slack. No just checking in emails. No expectation of instant replies. The effect? Productivity increases the next day, because people's brains actually rest. 2. The only what matters notification rule. Instead of turning off all notifications, which we rarely stick to, whitelist only the ones tied to your deepest priorities, family, emergencies, and truly urgent work. Everything else? Silent. 3. Deep work rewards over fast replies. In most companies, fast email replies are rewarded with praise. Flip it. Start recognizing deep, meaningful work that comes from uninterrupted focus. Speed doesn't always equal value. 4. Tech fasting retreats. This isn't about escaping to a spa. It's about stepping into an environment where your phone physically can't connect, allowing your mind to remember what it's like to think without interruption. I've seen leaders return from 3-day retreats with better ideas than they've had in years. 5. Personal rituals of disconnection. Small but sacred habits. Charging your phone outside the bedroom. No screens in the first and last hour of the day. Making meals a no-device zone. These aren't productivity hacks. They're acts of self-respect. When you reclaim your attention, you don't just become more efficient. You become more present. Your ideas get sharper. Your relationships get richer. And perhaps most importantly, you stop living reactively and start living intentionally. If your phone is the first and last thing you see each day, you're not living your life, you're leasing it. Technology will not set the boundaries for you. That's your job. And it's the most important leadership role you'll ever have, the CEO of your own attention.